This video is all about healing financial trauma. I'm going to give you the exact 4-step process. It's really quite simple for healing financial trauma. So let's dive right in. So step number 1 is understanding exactly what it is. I feel like financial trauma is kind of like one of those buzzwords, and you might have an idea of what it is and that you have it, but you're like, I probably wouldn't want to stand on stage and have to describe exactly what's going on here. So let me give you a definition, because financial trauma is actually a money wound, okay? And so I'm going to pull the definition from Wounds to Wealth, the life-changing method of diagnosing and healing money wounds to receive more wealth. A money wound is a noun. It's described as a stored feeling or trauma, there's that word again, residing in brain and body that negatively affects your thoughts, emotions, actions, and the way your body feels around money. If you've noticed that you have any thoughts, emotions, actions, or feelings around money that are less than ideal, then you know that you have at least one money wound, and that's essentially what your financial trauma is. I think it's really important to understand that it's in brain and body, because often when we're talking money mindset, what does that make us think of? The mind. So it's a very neck up approach, but actually there's tons and tons of data that supports the idea that financial traumas are also stored in our body. And that's why we feel it a certain way, right? Like you might be logging into your bank account and you're feeling heart palpitations, you're feeling a pit in your stomach. So you're actually having a physiological response. It's not just mental. So that's step number 1, is just understanding what we're actually talking about here. Step number 2 is diagnosing exactly which money wounds you have. So getting more specific about your financial trauma. How are we going to heal it if we don't understand what exactly it is? There are 6 core money wounds, and I'm going to go through each of them here. So there's the money shame wound. I'm not worthy of wealth. The evil money wound. Being rich is bad or wrong. The hard money wound. Money requires hard work. The money trust wound, I don't trust myself with money. The safe money wound, I won't feel safe until I have a big financial cushion. And the disappearing money wound, I don't trust money. It always leaves. So those are the 6 core money wounds. And what we know from studying lots and lots of people, thousands and thousands of people, is that 73% of people will have at least 3 or 4 of those money wounds. The most common is the money shame wound, followed by the hard money wound, and then the safe money wound and money trust. So those are the most common. Far less common to be the strongest money wound is the disappearing or the evil money wound. So diagnosing is really important. I'm going to give you a super easy way to do it. Go to moneywoundsquiz.com. It'll take you less than 5 minutes and it will spit out a diagnosis for you. So you'll get your strongest money wounds. This is so critical to healing financial trauma. So step 1 is understanding. Step 2 is diagnosing. Step 3 is healing. Now, healing is so key, because if we don't know the root cause of each money wound, how on earth are we going to heal it? Money mindset is such a blanket statement. It's a very neck up statement, and it assumes that any issue we have with money is the same. But if I have a client who has kind of a hoarder relationship with money, they have a really hard time spending, they have money locked away in 401ks and retirement accounts and savings accounts, but they're feeling a lot of scarcity. They can't enjoy spending money. They can't enjoy vacations. They're not making investments. And then I have another client who spends the money almost before it hits the account. The account is almost always at 0. There's a lot of debt. Even when there is money, when surprise money comes in, then there's a surprise expense and it's gone again. Why would I coach those clients the same way? Do those sound like the same issue? No, absolutely not. One is having trouble saving. One is having trouble spending. They're both having fear responses where unconscious mind is perceiving something as threat, but what it's perceiving is entirely different. One is perceiving spending as threat. One is perceiving holding on to money and keeping it and being in relationship with it as threat. So those are two very different things. So understanding which money wounds are strongest for you and having a diagnosis is so critical to the healing, because we can get to the root cause of what is actually there and then apply the potent medicine that heals it. So after you take the money wounds quiz, there are free healing resources there. I have a free money wound healing workshop that I'll put into the description so you can get that. And then this book is also an amazing resource, and this is available on Amazon. It's a really cheap and easy way to start understanding and healing financial trauma. So we'll make sure that this is linked as well. That's the way that you heal it. You get to the root cause, and then there's unique medicine that's applied to that. So for example, with the hard money wound, where it's like making money is hard, well, we have to do multiple things to address that. We have to retrain conscious mind. So we're going to give you evidence of ways that making money isn't hard and it's not hard for everyone. We're going to retrain unconscious mind to understand the ways in which money can actually flow in easily and get you aligned to that. We clean up any judgments that you've had about people who have gotten easy money. We clean up the parts of your identity that have been tied to hard work and work ethic being really important. And then we also clean up the physical stored trauma and wounds in the body. So that way you're not having that physiological response to work in the same way that you've had. And then we completely change the effort equals income equation to an impact equals income equation. So there's a lot that I take you through to heal each wound, way more than we could do in a short video here. But it's all in the book. The money healing workshop is a good place to start. And then I have a full paid program for students that really want to dive in and completely permanently heal all of their money wounds. And then step number 4 is alchemizing those wounds into new channels of wealth. What is alchemy? Alchemy is a magical transformation process. So it's changing one thing into another thing. That's how it's defined in the dictionary. So in essence, when we clean out space, where there was a money wound, now there's like a vacuum, right? There's an empty hole, so to speak, right? Where energy was stuck, now it's not stuck anymore. Well, we want to put something new in there. So what we actually do in this Wounds to Wealth Alchemy activation is we encode new energy in there that allows money to flow in this new channel, in this new way. And it's specific to each wound. So that's a really cool bonus step 4. A lot of people want to stop at step 3. They just think like, oh, let me just heal my financial trauma. Well, that's fine, but that's going to get you to more of like a neutral place and more like maintenance energy. Whereas you probably want newness and momentum and wealth and having a completely fresh experience with money. And the alchemy process is what helps you to completely open up the money flow so that it can channel to you in new ways. So that's the 4-step process. Understanding what financial trauma even is, diagnosing your money wounds, healing them with the unique medicine, and then alchemizing them into new channels of wealth. I'm Emily June Wilcox. I have dedicated my life to this. I've literally written the book on this topic, but I've surveyed and studied thousands and thousands of humans, so I understand what these core money wounds are, how they impact. I've coached hundreds and hundreds of students into permanently healing them, and I create lots of free and low-paid resources so that you can start to understand what's going on for yourself. I do all of this because my mission is to put more money in the hands of heart-centered humans. I firmly believe that when more money is in the hands of heart-centered humans, that the planet gets better. It gets more people out of survival mode and into thriving, where they can be generous, they can be passionate, they can be creative, they can serve their community in bigger ways. And so as the ripple effect of that happens and more people are stepping into wealth out of survival mode, they're thriving in new ways, we absolutely change the planet for the better. So that's what I'm here for. I hope you join me on this mission, and thank you so much for tuning in.